And, what was I saying before I rudely interrupted myself because the video ran out?
I don't know, I fell asleep again.
Excellent.
So it must have been about time zero.
Yeah, we were still stuck at time zero, because that's where all the plot holes are.
Yeah. To be honest, I can probably narrow this down a little bit further. The entire game is Eve Brea saves the world from an Eve Brea fuck-up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she hadn't started going all crazy, accidentally killed her sister, but not quite, but still destroyed her soul, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
So there you go. Eve Brea saves the world from an Eve Brea fuck-up.
She saved the world from herself. Pretty much, in a nutshell. Yeah, the whole soul-shattering thing, pretty damn dumb. We're going from mitochondria and DNA and whatnot, and now we're going to evolution through souls. It's just about the most dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Especially in a series which has been very much about science.
Biology and stuff.
Biology and science as opposed to anything spiritual.
Yeah.
I mean, if they'd kind of hinted about that in any of the previous games, yeah, I could buy it, you know. It would be a logical extension of a theme that's popped up in previous... Nope. Nothing about that.
Yeah.
Science, science, science. Mitochondria. Neo-mitochondria.
Yeah.
Never souls.
I'd like to, though, point out that Hyde Boar is actually, while I do still continue to ridicule this name to this day, because it's stupid. You don't call it... No parent in Denmark goes up to the kid and says, "Hello, son, your name is going to be Hyde Boar." Because you're getting two last names for your entire name. One last name which is mainly just a fictional first name and used a couple places in history as last names, whatnot.
See, whenever I see the name Hyde, I always think that 70s show.
It's smart when you think of it in the fact that, you know, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Hyde Boar turns into a big tentacle monster in the end. Or rather, he is really a monster with a human skin.
Yeah, because I don't remember Mr. Hyde having tentacles.
No, but, you know...
Distinct lack of flagella in that story.
Yeah. No, it's just the whole concept that, you know, man turns into a monster, sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Although,
and
in his case, it was really more, he was a monster from the very beginning.
Well, very beginning of his creation.
Yeah.
Time zero happened!
Are you trying to make me fall asleep?
Yes.
Oh.
No. What I'm... And bored because... famous Danish physicist, and he's from Denmark.
Yay.
Yeah. Again, Lars, Ole, Søren, Peter, Prebensen, just to name a few names that are like common Danish names. Mikael. Just, you know, just common Danish names, for God's sake! It's not like Hyde Boar is ancient either.
He looks to be in about his mid-50s. Although, you know, again, he's chronologically
not that
like
ancient.
3 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Japanese like characters who are really young, who are far more capable than they should be, but in this game, they're pushing it.
I don't know, I like how Hyde Boar looks, you know, with his facial, that he has, like, aging marks and whatnot that they normally not even do with characters.
Although it always looks to me like he should have a mustache.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, that
big bushy mustache, too.
Yeah.
And we'd call him Scruffy, just because.
Scruffy don't like that. Nope.
But I love Haste. I just like to say that right now. I love Haste. So what else is there in Time Zero that we need to talk about? Is there any plot holes you can think about that we have not discussed?
Okay. Very beginning of the game. Very end of the game. Everything else in between. Plot hole.
Yeah, pretty much, but you know what I'm talking about here.
Right, specifics. Oh god. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Like I said, basically the main problem which I have with the opening storyline, and you know we have covered it, is that random attack on a wedding by a bunch of guys who you never find out about. As I've said, you can, if you look at the previous games as a whole, which apparently the guys who created this didn't, you can kind of piece together some logical reason as to why they would be there.
But it's not explained that that is the reason. That's the only reason that there is to make, saying that this is the only possible reason it could be.
Yeah, which is really sloppy storytelling. I mean,
Very.
I like it when, I do agree that in stories, you know, if you have everything presented to you in a neat little package, that's not really all that satisfying.
Yeah, there has to be some mystery and intrigue to it. But,
yeah, it's not
you know,
as much
something
fun
as
as
simple
being able
as,
to sit there and work something out for yourself.
Yeah,
you know.
The thing is, you'd think, you know, what was the CTI, and that they had the government files, that one of the emails they could, like, have dug up. You know, they had the emails for this whole purpose, right?
Yeah.
Of not needing to explain it in the game. And being like little tidbits you unlock as you progress through the game and through difficulties. And they could have written in the email that they found some documents saying, you know, now that they've been looking at it, and that there's some mention of an operation going on at the same date that supposes that they found Aya. So, you know, they could be hinting that way.
Yeah, but, you know, by the same token, they burst in, and they basically go ahead and kill
the priest, Kyle, Aya.
Yeah, they also go ahead and kill, you know, the country's foremost monster hunter.
Yeah,
This
and
is one
they're
that's
also going to
proven
go
herself
kill
against horrible eldritch abominations time and
Yeah.
time again. And they go and unload a whole load of bullets into her chest.
Yeah.
Great going there.
But to be fair, in a sense, you know, they probably shot her out of self-preservation. First they shot Kyle, Aya shoots at them, and then their first shot is, holy shit, she's got a gun. And then they shoot her.
Yeah.
And besides, they could probably just clone her again anyways.
I know. The whole thing, the main thing that really bothers me about this game isn't what they did to Aya's character. I mean,
Yeah, because it's not even Aya, it's Eve, and you know, I can kind of understand that it's Eve, and yeah, she's been living for 3 years old, so of course she'd be a little whimpering girl.
Yeah. Just ignore all of that. You know, ignore the fact that this is an established character, blah blah blah. The storytelling as it is presented is terrible.
Atrocious.
It is one of the worst written stories I've encountered in a game in quite some time. And I mean, I'm talking about modern day gaming, not, you know,
Yeah,
classic 8-bit games where you were lucky if there was a plot.
Yeah.
I mean, this, especially considering this comes from Squaresoft, or Square Enix, I should say. A company who, you know, people will defend to the death as having some of the best written stories in modern gaming. Whether they do or not, that's a discussion for a completely different thread.
Yeah, it is.
But if they were to even remotely justify that reputation, you would expect them to have at least some kind of borderline baseline quality. And for that, personally, that would be having a story which has a minimum of plot holes. I'm not going to, you know, saying the story has to be completely plot hole free.
Yeah.
Everyone
but
makes
this
mistakes.
entire game is a plot hole.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a plot hole singularity that collapses in on itself.
it's a plot hole fractal. You just look closer and there's more plot holes.
Exactly.
You know, it's an infinite, eternal fuck up in terms of storyline.
Oh, now you're just being nice to the game.
I don't know, infinite, eternal fuck up. I kind of suggest that it's going to keep on going. It's, you know, it's
It deserves
perpetual
worse.
motion. It's a perpetual motion engine of we done fucked up.
It deserves worse, and I just noticed something during the recording. And no, we're not going to re-record books of that. And I don't know how that'll turn out in recording, but I forgot to turn my messengers on.
I haven't heard anything.
Ah, excellent. Then you haven't heard anything. Good.
Which is good, because I'll be damned if I'm recording all of that ranting again.
Yeah, by then I'm pretty sure we'll be out of steam, The steam will build up. Basically, all the steam we've had has been building up to this episode. We could basically rant about the game.
All the vitriol and bile.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, I mean, when it comes to stupid plots, I have a very high.
Yeah, I have a very high tolerance too.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very high degree of suspension of belief. I mean, I've always said if you could harness my own personal suspension of belief, I could take mankind to the stars. I will believe any crap in a story as long as it's presented in a way that's logical and believable. You know, even if it's just sort of like, you press this button, you gain superpowers. Fine, I can do it. I can believe that.
Yeah,
Here, though, the entire story has just been presented in such a ham-fisted, atrocious way.
It's like they had 10 different plots, and they took bits and pieces from each of these 10 different, scripts, and then they put them, sewed them together into some horrible Frankenstein monstrosity.
Yeah, when they were busy going, okay, we've had this big budget and increase.
Big budget? What are you talking about? They have a tiny budget. They had budget for a mobile phone game.
Yeah, but compared to a mobile phone game, it's a big budget.
Yeah.
We've had this big increase, and we're being told that this has to be made into a big PSP.
As far as I understand, they didn't even get an increase in budget. They were just, it's the game developers themselves that said, we want to make a mobile phone game as a spin-off thing. And then later on in development, they said, holy shit, this game can't fit on a mobile phone. We're not even partway done with this. I guess we'll just make it into a PSP game instead.
Well, whoever it was done. At some point they realised, hang on a minute, we don't actually have enough storyline for this. So I'm thinking they may have cribbed some of the earlier, the earlier preliminary storylines which were rejected, and kind of tried to fashion them together into some storyline. I've no idea if that's true, and frankly I couldn't care less either way.
Conjecture right now and all that. And really, it's just, everything about this game is bad. It just is. Plain and simple. It just, the gameplay is great, the music is great, the graphics for a PSP game is awesome. But the story and the characterization is just atrocious. And it's more the story that hurts the most. Yeah. The characterization is not bad for
the characterization is entirely consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say Aya anymore because it's really...
Yeah.
But it's not bad for Eve because it is a little girl, and she's basically a clone of Aya, and she hadn't lived for very long, so yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the characterization is internally consistent.
Except for Maida.
Does get, internally consistent with this game and this game alone. If you start bringing in Parasite Eve 1 and 2...
Fair enough.
No, sir. It does not work.
No.
If you're taking the game on its own merits, it's internally consistent, the characters do grow in a steady way. Fair enough. We don't like it, but it's just when you start taking in the storyline into account as well that everything gets really screwy.
Yeah.
And goddammit, we're gonna run this shit into the ground.
Oh, I made sure we have plenty of time to run it into the ground and then some. Yeah. Because I think at this point people want to hear what we think. Yeah,
people want vindication.
Because we've kind of been able to, we've been kind of holding it back on a lot because, again, spoilers everywhere until the very end of the game, which is really annoying. You don't get any plot explained through the starting and the mid-section of the game, and then you get to the final chapter, and then you get a plot dump.
Yeah, and half the plot dump that you get, you won't even know unless you specifically go looking for it.
Exactly.
It's, again, that's another problem. I don't mind having to look outside for answers.
Like in Final Fantasy 13, I had no problem with reading up on the files because then the actual in-game cutscenes and the story flowed better in a sense that this is how the characters would react. Yeah. This is how they'd act to each other. They already knew all these things because, or else we'd be going around with Titus going, "What's that? I have a really annoying voice and I have to ask questions at everything."
Granted, again, most of that stuff probably should have been better explained in the game to begin with, but at least they're offering it to you if you want to.
Exactly, but
if you want to read it.
But
here, you know, you won't know that stuff's available unless you go looking for it, and it's entirely likely that you're going to miss
And
it
some
to
of it is
begin with.
and some of it is unlockable through the emails, which is like you only get emails if you play on. You have to play through all difficulties to unlock all emails.
Yeah,
so
and I'd be willing to bet that a large proportion of the people who played this would have basically finished it once and gone, you know what, fuck that. God knows
Yeah.
I did.
I played it because I was like, well, there's unlockables. I have to. My OCD tells me I have to. It has unlockables.
As I said, when I finished this once, I was just like, okay, now I never have to play this again.
Well, the thing is, you can skip the cutscenes, so.
Yeah, but that still requires
But I like
having
the
some
game.
kind of investment in the plot.
Well, I like the gameplay, but I can just skip all the cutscenes, so I can just enjoy the gameplay instead. And plus, you know, I read that there was an insane mode or / genocide in Japan.
Much better name for it, frankly.
Yeah, and I was intrigued. I was like, okay, people say genocide mode is ridiculously hard and stuff, and I was like, I want to try this mode. I am always up for a challenge. So, you know, that was sort of my whole reasoning behind it. And then midway I was playing it, and then people were like, "You're always playing these stupid console games while you're on TeamSpeak." Well, you should totally do a Let's Play, because you watch lots of Let's Plays all the time, and, you know, stuff. And then I'm like, just because I watch Let's Plays doesn't mean I know how to make them. And so it kind of went on joking me back and forth. I've probably said this before. And then eventually I decided, screw it, you know what, I'm just to bother them or bug them, then I'm just gonna do it just because they won't expect it.
Yeah. Do a Let's Play out of spite. That'll teach them.
Yeah, that'll teach them. And I kind of regret it now because I've had to watch all the cutscenes over again. I had forgotten how terrible it was.
And that's why they always say you should do a game you enjoy.
I do enjoy the gameplay.
Yeah, I'm talking about as a whole package. You can't just cherry pick the bits you do and don't like.
But I'm the type of person who actually enjoys watching Z-grade schlocky movies, and I enjoy it. I have a high tolerance for this shit. But
yeah, but
this is
between...
even this is bad compared to the Z-grade shit that's out there.
Yeah, there's a world of difference between watching Plan 9 from outer space once or twice and subjecting yourself to it for 15 hours a day. One is a ticket to one we ticket to mental illness.
Well, this game isn't very long, so it's not like I had to play that much.
Long enough.
Oh, I had everything basically unlocked at the point I had decided to do it. More or less everything. Okay, fair enough. Unlocking everything took a couple 100 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, I didn't even need to say anything there.
But you know, it's not like I have anything better to do.
No,
Hello,
yeah, I'll give you that.
Asperger's. But no. Anyway, I think I mean, I'd say the plot story-wise, it runs fine when you just look at episode 0, episode 1, and episode 2, and then around mid-episode 3 it gets kind of iffy.
Yeah, right at that point the waveform collapses and it turns out the cat's been dead the entire time.
Yeah, but no, it's just, you know, they had some nice progression, you know, character development, slowly going up. It's like they had more planned, and then they get to, like, episode 3, when you win that, it's like, holy shit, 2-month jump, Cray die? How?
Yeah, it's good. Once you get to that point, it's almost as if the directors were going, wait, you're still here? But have we got any storyline left?
No, I think they had plenty of story. I think the problem is, again, their budget. It's like you mentioned in one of our conversations, that it's like they made the first level and the last level as the very first ones, and then they started working towards the middle, and then they're like, holy shit, that's right, we forgot, we only have a cell phone game budget, and we are running out of time and money, and our team size is too small to pull off a miracle, and I guess we just have to pull something out of our ass now and skip a bunch of stuff. So, like, episode 4 and 3 turned out to be these really hastily put together episodes, because episode 4, aside, if you take away the worms and the rail sections, it's really short.
Yeah, there's a lot of padding in episodes
Episode
4 and
four.
5. Episode 4 especially.
Well, episode 5, I'd say the whole padding is because, it's the last level, it's big, there's lots of areas, lots of fighting, big monsters, and it's supposed to be like the hardest area in the game, right?
True, but
So-
there's at least 2 or 3 sections that you could take out and it would have absolutely no impact on the game whatsoever.
Mhm.
Even going by the dialogue that, Maeda says to you, it's
Yeah.
nothing that you wouldn't either have already worked out or would particularly care about.
Except for his creepy, oh, I'm gonna get a sample of a high one and I'm gonna compare it to you, Aya. Sick fetishes. But no, I really feel that, the episode 1 and 5 was done first because they're the longest. But we're gonna have to wait and talk about the rest over the roller.